Hello again, and my name's Martin Gibbs. This is Jack Wright. We both work for Dafferns Chartered Accountants, and today's video is all about two accountants talking about tech. Jack and I are both into our technology, and it's one of the conversations we have a lot in the office in the days when we are working in the office. But we're working from home, aren't we, Jack? So how's it going working from home for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a change. So it's getting used to the new environment and speaking to people through different mediums. Obviously, we use Teams a lot now, and Zoom, obviously, that we're using at the moment. So yeah, it's getting used to how they function day to day.
Yep. So between Teams and Zoom, have you got a preference?
I think Teams is really good for speaking within our team. I think that works really well with the chat function and stuff like that. And then Zoom's just good for any big group meetings or speaking to clients.
Yeah, Zoom seems to have the advantage that you can have loads of people on screen and
you can see everyone at once, can't you?
Yeah. Whereas Teams, you can only see 4 people at a time, which is a bit of a restriction. But in terms of working from home, then take me through your daily drivers. What have you got in front of you? What are your key bits of kit for working from home?
My HP laptop, and then just a second screen, and then using my work phone day to day for calling. Although definitely found that we don't need to make phone calls quite as often as what we used to, because you just use the computer, use webcam and stuff like that. So
why do we need a phone system in the office? Because you can get hold of anybody on Teams, and if you've got a mobile phone, external calls can be just redirected to the mobile phone, and internally we can get hold of anybody anywhere using Teams. Maybe that'll be one of the changes that happens when we do come out of that. So are you finding any big fundamental changes in your work pattern and how you're able to work, or any restrictions on how you're able to work when you're working from home?
I think it's just getting used to your hours throughout the day. So I've turned to using a timer throughout the day.
Absolutely.
To set 30-minute or hour or 45-minute slots, just to keep track of how long I'm spending on stuff, because you don't have the day isn't broken up by speaking to people or that contact throughout the day. So that's a useful mechanism to track your day.
And I think we're both becoming fans of Spotify, aren't we? And having a bit of what sort of stuff are you listening to in the background on Spotify then?
Yeah, it's all of the read or reading playlists or study playlists. Just not necessarily anything in particular. It's just background noise, just to block out everything else, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been watching quite a few productivity videos on YouTube. There's a guy called Ali Abdaal that I've been watching quite a few of his videos, and he has a study with me playlist, so I'll put a link to that playlist in the description to the video. But I'm into my lo-fi beats at the moment, just stuff in the background that just helps you to focus. My daily drivers working from home, I'm very fortunate, and I've got a MacBook Pro 16-inch, which is virtually brand new, and it's an absolutely glorious machine to be working on from home. And in combination with that, I've got my iPad Pro, and I've got my iPhone, iPhone 11 Pro Max or whatever. Yeah, absolutely. And my noise cancelling Apple headphones or earphones. So I'm in a very fortunate position where I've got some really bits of snazzy kit, which is rather over-engineered for the job of an accountant. And I've still got my Microsoft Surface, which is the only thing I can use to get into Caseware, which is the cloud audit software that we use. And I think we are finding Caseware actually is a bit of a game changer for us. I know you're heavily involved in a particular audit of a UK subsidiary of an overseas parent at the moment. You're up against time limits and group reporting, but that's all going okay via Caseware, is it? Yeah,
that along with the hosting software that we use, it's allowed everyone to still be able to access everything no matter where they are.
Yeah, there was a thing I was reading the other day, which is that if all of this had happened in 2005, how would we have coped? I don't know why they picked 2005. I think it was because of the 7/7 bombings and the last time that there was a big sort of national impact event in the UK. But in 2005, we would have struggled like mad. But anything new that's come out recently that's caught your eye?
Yeah, I think the main one is the new iPhone SE. So a refresh of the original iPhone SE from 2017, 16, something like that.
Yep.
Which it looks the exact same as the iPhone 8 from a few years ago. It's the same internals as the iPhone 11 and all their models. So I think it's but for a price that's significantly cheaper, £419, which is obviously an easy option for a lot of people when they're looking to upgrade a phone and don't want to spend £1,000.
Oh, absolutely. And I think if you go for the 128 gig version, which I know would be your pick, simply because you've got more room for photos and music you might download on it. The 128 gig version is 469, I think it is. And the other phone that Apple do, which you might compare it to, is the iPhone XR. And the 128 gig XR is £679.
Yeah.
And this was a bit of a head scratcher for us.
A few years old as well.
Why would you pick an XR over an SE, or would you not?
Well, it's visually, isn't it? It's the notch display rather than the forehead and the chin, which is the old style iPhone, which is what most people didn't like. That's why they wanted to move away from it. But obviously, Apple can produce the iPhone SE cheap now because they've been making iPhone 7s and iPhone 8s for years, haven't they? So
I had an iPhone 7S. I was trying to work out the other day whether it was a 7S Max, but I don't think there was a Max version of it. I just had a 7S, but it had a really big Thule Atmos case on it. And I like that phone, and I was absolutely fine with the big forehead and the big chin. But built into that big chin was the fingerprint sensor.
Yeah, which I think a lot of people are going to want to go back to now, aren't they? Because I think it's a security issue that a lot of people didn't like to have their face in their phone, but also with the current events, people are going to be wearing face masks potentially all the time. So not wanting to have to expose their face just to unlock their phone, a fingerprint sensor is going to be a lot more useful. Visually,
the difference between the old iPhone 8 and the new SE is the Apple logo on the back of the phone. I mean, this is my phone, but the new phones have the Apple logo in the middle, whereas the iPhone 8 had it up here. So the only difference between the two phones is the position of the Apple logo and the fact that you've got this brand new A13 chip inside it. So yes, I think we're both very interested to see what happens with the iPhone SE. And it is seen to be a phone for the times, because as businesses are running short of money, but people need to be buying a phone. You can have something that's starting at £419, whereas this being the 11 Pro Max, this is £1,250.
Yeah.
And really, although this is lovely, there's not a lot of difference in the real world between the two phones. The bit of technology which has come out recently, which really appeals to me, or initially appealed to me, is Apple brought out this new Magic Keyboard for the iPad Pro. And I've got an iPad Pro, 12.9-inch iPad Pro, which is this device here. And this has got the Smart Folio keyboard, which works like that. The new keyboard, which they're calling the Magic Keyboard, actually goes that one step further and effectively turns the iPad into virtually a laptop. But it's £349 for this floating keyboard that won't fold back on itself, because I spend a lot of time with my iPad folded back in that format, or you can fold it away and you've just got a tablet.
Whereas, not only that, but it's heavier than the iPad itself, so it doubles the weight of an iPad, that then becomes heavier than most MacBook Airs and stuff that you can buy, which MacBook Airs are also cheaper. So it becomes more of an argument whether you actually need to spend more money to get something that doesn't quite have all the functions of a standard Mac.
Yeah, and you hit on a really good point there, because Apple have recently relaunched, or they launched the new version of the MacBook Air, and as you said, I think a nicely priced i5 processor version of the MacBook Air is £1,469. By the time you've got the iPad Pro, the new Magic Keyboard, and a pencil, an Apple Pencil, then I think it comes out to pretty much the same money. So you have a choice of something which, as you say, weighs more than a MacBook Air, isn't as good a computer, but of course is a way better tablet. Yeah. And it all depends on the individual as to as to which way you go. The last couple of years, I've done a huge amount of traveling with our connections with AGN, and I was looking for a tablet-y type computer that I could do all my work on while I was away. And the iPad Pro is that 100%. But the new keyboard, I don't know whether at the moment I'm not going to get one, but maybe when we're back in the office, I might consider getting one. But it does turn it more into a virtually a laptop. But I've got a MacBook Pro, so why would I want to turn my iPad into a laptop? Yeah. But I think for traveling, and I don't know when I'm going to be traveling again. I'm missing my traveling, but I don't know when I'm going to be traveling again. Who knows? But it is a really clever bit of kit. It's nicely designed, but it has its big limitations. And the main one is that that the only way you can use the iPad Pro as a tablet when it's on this new Magic Keyboard is to actually take it off the keyboard, and then you've got a keyboard that's hanging around. Whereas with the old style keyboard like this, you don't need to take it off because it's compact and it's there. Yeah. So yeah, interesting stuff, and a high quality problem to have. A key little luxury that you wouldn't want to be getting rid of. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I think it's got to be a pair of good either wireless headphones or earphones to block out the sound. Obviously, I'm working from home with 4 other people in the house also working from home. So there's more noise in the house than there would be, even if I guess.
You've not got them in today though, have you? Because you got your wired ones in today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is mainly for the microphone though, but yeah, the wireless headphones are great for just blocking out the sound day to day when you're trying to work, but everyone else is also working on phone calls and stuff throughout the day.
Well, I've got my my new AirPods. I think they're AirPods Pro, and they're really good. They've got noise cancelling in them, which is it's not full noise cancelling. I've also got some Bose QC35 headphones rather than earphones, which are brilliant on aeroplanes because they really do knock all of the sound out. And I got the inspiration for those from reading an article by Lee Mackenzie, the Formula One journalist on Channel 4, used to be on BBC. Her top tips for surviving long-haul flights, and number 1 tip is noise cancelling headphones. Well, hopefully we'll be back in the office before too long, but the new normal's not going to be the same as the old normal, is it?
No, I think there's been a lot of articles and stuff going around in the last few weeks about people in the future when we are back to normal, not wanting to go to work every single day. I mean, you cut out on the travel each day, don't you? And you get the chance to, if you are the only one working from home or whatever, you can zone into the work you need to do without those distractions that you get from being in the office. So I think it'll definitely give people a lot more options to work either in the office or from home.
Yeah, we've proved that we can do it. We all miss the personal interaction, but we're getting better at Zoom, and we're getting better at Teams and learning the protocols
day by day.
So day by day. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Jack. That's been really good. So just to remind, I'm Martin Gibbs. This is Jack Wright. We're both from Dafferns. And thank you very much, and see you on the next video. Cheers then.
Yeah. Goodbye.